just get this set up here, and hopefully we can get started. Hopefully we'll have a great conversation. Um, I'm going to tell you. Ooh, that represents the community. Okay, they're adding more stuff to TikTok. How dare they? How dare they? And here we are. We're doing a multi-stream. Um, so I actually changed my hours because I am doing a lot. So it's getting to the point right now that I can't maintain doing the. Let me fix this camera over here. I'm sorry. Okay, there you go. Now I can see the full glory of my big head. So we are once again growing. We are growing. We are surviving. We are healing. Uh, what am I talking about tonight? You already know. Getting you free from the trauma bond. If you are experiencing the trauma bond from narcissistic abuse, well, we're going to, that's the job. That's the job to get you out of it. As you can see behind me, I have created so many new things over the last few days. Being kind of bummed out because it was like 1,000 degrees one day. I remember I went outside and I was like, damn, came right back inside. And then it got cold all of a sudden. It's crazy, this weather. It's like my grandmother used to say, this is that pneumonia weather. You don't know what's coming and going. I think it kind of affected me. That's part of the reason why I haven't been going live. But then again, there's a lot going on right now as far as the Now movement is concerned. So I found some ways so I can still be of assistance. I can still be there for people. But like I said, there's just so much coming down the pike. Oh, yeah. Tonight, all you have to do is send me an email with the word clarity, and I will just go ahead and send you my newest guide. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's about radical acceptance, and it's going to help you guys to stop rewriting reality. Okay. Something that I've been talking about before I took my little, it's not really a vacation because I did a lot of work. But yeah, it's a free guide. They call it a template. It's a free template to help people figure out what's going on and to actually see if you are literally rewriting reality. Something that we often do is empaths and narcissistic dynamics, but it's also something that the narcissist depends on you doing to rewrite the reality, to second guess yourself, to doubt yourself, thereby taking away your confidence, because let's be honest, if you can't trust your own gut feelings and trust your instincts, your confidence is definitely eroded. So yeah, hey, what's up? Choosing me always. I see a couple people in here. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Multi-stream. Um, we got some research from Dr. Romani and Carl Jung about this whole narcissistic dynamic here. This thing that drives me crazy. It really does drive me crazy. So we're coming up on a holiday weekend. I was actually discussing this with someone. It's like, why do we celebrate Memorial Day? It's like someone's, hey, love, what's up? Why do we celebrate Memorial Day? It's like a lot of people, like, during wars and stuff, think it should be like a day of remembrance, but we go out there, barbecue, hit the beach, have a great time. And yeah, thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Don't forget, love, while you're here, and you're the only one here right now, but don't forget to shoot me an email. You can get it off my Service Plus because I actually have a new guide, a new template, as they call it in the web world, for free, completely free, to help people understand what they're going through. Let me just hit see all. Hold on, this site thing. Maybe I had. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. Just send me an email. You're going to get the free guide. Also, during the course of this live, I created a new community on school. This is part of how I am going to ensure that I'm always of service. It's going to have courses. It's going to have guides. I just officially launched it today, but we're going to give a couple of people free access to it. Okay. Hey, it's a win-win situation. So I'm going to give a couple of people free access tonight to the school community. It's called Real Talk in a Circle. Um, like I said, the weather is kind of it's up and down. Oh, thank you, love. Thank you for saying that's nice. Um, yeah, I always want to be of assistance. Yes, the movement has to move forward. Yes, I've got this show that I'm working on, Real Talk, No Other Way. So there's a lot going on. It really is. If you look behind me, I had to change my live schedule to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. for now because there's just literally so much. I'm creating guides. The pre-launch ends the first for how to break the trauma bond in 7 steps. So that's going to be available on Amazon on the first. And I think I might actually add the ebook as like kind of a gift for those that actually go ahead and join the school community. I'm looking for a place. Hey, Carla, what's going on? I'm looking for a place where people can interact with each other. Get advice, get courses to help them through it. Just anything to be able to say. Oh yeah. So we're going to have Sunday alignment. That's going to be actually by Zoom every Sunday at 1 p.m. You can get on camera. You don't have to get on camera. The only thing I ask is that you just go ahead and join the conversation. So I think that's going to be a great forum for people that are still looking for answers, people that are still in survivor mode. I'm trying to get everybody into heal mode. That's really my thing. Get everybody into heal mode. And I think it's possible. I know it's possible. I know it's capable. I think if people just decide, like I was saying last week, that today is the day and they're not going to tolerate it anymore, then yeah, you can heal. That's why I made that template about radical acceptance and for people to actually see in real time if they're literally rewriting the reality that they are experiencing. Again, completely free. All I need you to do is to shoot me an email. I'll put up my Service Plus every once in a while. I think it has a thing that says send me message. I wouldn't suggest that you go ahead and put your email in the comments, but at least that way I get the email, and then after this live, I'm just going to work on sending out emails to everyone for the template. I did a lot of work on it today. I think it's really, really cool. I think it will give you the answers that you are seeking. Um, and if you're watching via YT or FB, same thing. Just send me a message. I know for a fact my email is in the my bio, or even to send me a DM. So we have options. We've always had options. I think when we find ourselves trapped in these narcissistic dynamics, we start to believe that we don't have options. The scariest thought is I'm stuck with this person for the rest of my life. No matter how unhappy I am, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm stuck here. And that's a horrible, horrible feeling. That's why it's important that you take steps towards your healing, towards reclaiming your identity, towards reclaiming yourself. Um, Again, I think I said this last week. I could make a 10,001 courses. It's not going to make a difference until you make that choice that you no longer want to tolerate this anymore. So yeah, and that's part of the reason why I made the school community, because one of the things that I noticed on many of my posts on TikTok is that they become like almost a healing chamber, because people that have gone through this will actually chime in. They'll help out. They'll be there. They'll give people advice and stuff like that. I think one of those posts has over 12,000 comments, where people are just jumping in, being of assistance to each other. I think I could expand on that with the school community. I think school is actually awesome. A couple of days ago, I opened it up. I had a great idea, because I was like, okay, I missed a couple of lives. I got to make up for this time. I've got to make up for this time. So I missed a couple of lives. And I said, well, let me put the time that I'm not doing lives to good use, really, really good use. And I just went ahead and created a school community, and I just got finished. I'm going to say about what, 4 hours ago. It's a lot. It really is a lot, but it offers so much, especially for survivors. It's at all levels of your healing journey. And I think with people being able to jump in and chime in and voice their opinions as well, I think that's going to be a huge help. Um, and part of what I'm going to be doing, since it's brand new, when I do go live, I will be giving away a couple of free memberships to people. Um, so that we can get the conversation started a lot sooner. Um, and one of the things I'm really proud of is the Sunday alignment. I think the Sunday alignment is going to be awesome. It's literally a Zoom for about an hour where we get on and we dive deep into this. We really do dive deep into this on Sundays. It's Sundays at 1 p.m. and it's every Sunday at 1 p.m. That's part of being part of this school community. I get on, you get on, we discuss it. Again, we're always resolution driven. So we make sure that we walk away feeling as if, hey, listen, I can get through this. I think it's important that people always have that feeling of, I can get through this. Being a goal driven person myself, you know, when you hit that roadblock and you're like, okay, I'm not going to get through this, and then you find a way. You definitely find a way. And many of you being empaths, I know that you're built this way. So yeah, we're gonna find a way. Hey, Wante, what's going on? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. You know, um, yeah. So there's a lot in the works. I got my Beast computer back finally. That's a long story. Maybe one day I'll tell it. But I got my Beast computer back, so it's going to make the editing process for Real Talk No Other Way a lot easier, a whole lot easier. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about a lot. I am so. Thank you for the heart, me. Thank you for the heart, me. I appreciate you. I want to tell you, you're awesome. You're awesome. Hey, listen, I think I sent you an email. If not, let me know. And just send me an email and just put the word clarity in there. Not only will I give you the sheet, I'm actually going to put that in our group anyway. No, that's actually going in the school community. Um, but that way you can have full access to the school community called Real Talk Inner Circle. This guy always doing something, always freaking doing something. Trying to make life easier for everybody, I guess, but himself. Because I got like no time whatsoever for myself. So yeah, I got my beast back. Yeah, I'm just going to talk geek talk for a while. I got my beast back, so I'm just going to go through the programs, make sure I got everything as it was. Maybe put another. I'm thinking maybe because it holds. Yeah, I'm going to put like another 32 gigs of RAM in there. Just to make it because render times suck. Render time. Whenever you do video, it's the render time that kills you. So I'm going to speed that up, add another 32, so that'll bring me up to 64. Gigs of power. I can't afford a server right now. I can't. So yeah, I'm going to have to work with that. Um, but yeah, so there's so much going on. Part of what we'll be offering in the school community, since it's a monthly subscription, um, is I'm going to be adding courses to that as well. So like every week there'll be new modules, new courses, new as they call them templates to help you get through this. And it's not a hard pitch for that because I think we discuss a lot right here. I do, but this allows us to keep the conversation going. I was thinking of a couple of different formats like Patreon. I was like, nah, I don't like Patreon. And then I was thinking about Discord, and my understanding of Discord is like this. I understand very little about Discord, and I didn't think it was going to be able to give me all the plugs and whistles that I actually wanted. And I wanted a lot of plugs. I really wanted that thriving community where you can jump in the community, where we can have the live stream, where you can just go ahead and sit down and do a course, whatever you choose to do. I wanted to give people that option. Again, that's one of the things is options. And I hate the fact that every narcissist that I've dealt with, that seemed in hindsight to be their main goal, to chip away at my confidence. So I thought that I had no options, thereby leaving me with the feeling of being stuck. I hate being stuck. One of the things that I've been saying for years is that life is literally like Pac-Man. There's always a way out. You just got to be fast enough to figure it out. And I hated the fact in hindsight that after the discard, that sinking feeling like, oh, maybe I should go back. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'll never find anybody else. It's a lie. It's a freaking lie. Nobody's got time for that. Okay, you're great. You're great. As it not even as an empath, as a human being, you're great. And you were so valuable to that narcissist, believe it or not. As much as they try to diminish your confidence, as much as they try to devalue, as much as they try to make you disconnect with yourself, the goal was to hide the emptiness within them. And I say this often, and many of you can attest to this. All that bravado, all of that confidence, all of that, yeah, I'm the it. It's like you find out near the end just how fake it was. Just literally how freaking fake it was. I look back at all three of those situationships, and I was like, you definitely weren't as you presented yourself to be. All you did was present yourself as you were just like me, but we soon found out that you're not built like me. So yeah, there is a lot of the narcissist needing you, but trying to make you feel like you need them. And as you heal, the longer you stay, the more they chip away at your confidence. You're correct, Wante. You are so correct. That is the truth. The longer that you stay, and why do we stay? That's why I had to make that template today. Why do we stay? Because we don't want to accept the truth. We've come to the point, and this is a hard thing to hear, but we've come to the point where we have self-diminished our own confidence in ourselves that we truly believe what the hell they're saying. The funny thing is, they don't even believe what they're saying. It's just part of their script. They don't even believe what they're saying. But they need to, I guess there was a guy that used to be on these lives with me. He said, they literally want to destroy you. Well, yeah, in a sense they do. In a sense they do. That's where all those feelings of they hated you came from. That's where all those feelings of, I can't seem to do anything right, but I'm doing things 100 times better than you are. Those feelings stem from that. You have to remember it's a psychological disorder where they need to feel superior even though they're not superior. The need to, again, and it's shame-based, the need to push their shame as far down as possible so they don't have to deal with it. It's also an avoidance thing. That's why people call them avoidance, because they don't want to deal with what they know to be the truth. I don't know how many times that I can say this, but the narcissist knows what they're doing at all times, and it's all done for the purpose of protecting that mask, that carefully created thing that they've been walking around for most of their life, just mending it up every night. It's like a Terminator movie. After he gets to a big brawl, he sits down with the crazy glue and fixes things up. That's what the narcissist does. And so many people find themselves in, as they say in the military, state of shock and awe. That's actually a military tactic, shock and awe. So once, you start seeing through the mask, once you start seeing the demon that you've been living with, once you start to understand the dynamic for what it truly is, you are literally in shock and awe. And we know that we are because our nervous system is that we're having an internal argument with our nervous system and the logical side of our brain. And yet and still we're blaming ourselves. That's the scariest part of it all. We're blaming ourselves for what? What are you blaming yourself for? You just got trapped with a narcissist. How is it your fault? Oh, I get it. You should have known better. But as I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, you weren't ready. As Kevin Hart said, I'm not ready. I wasn't prepared. Can we get a do-over? So, yeah. And Wante says, once you really see it, it's so disturbing. It is. It's scary. It's scary. I am a big fan of roller coasters, and back in the day, I used to love horror movies. If I could get scared at a horror movie, that was worth my money. And I'm talking about scared where I'm like, that's worth my money. But I'm going to tell you something. I think after the last one, I was petrified. I was petrified for many reasons because once you understand that you're dealing with a demon or a jinn, if that's your belief, once you understand that you're dealing with a demon, do you really know how far that demon is going to go? Do you know exactly at what level, they're going to go to destroy you? Because now everything is starting to make sense. Those feelings of why does this person hate me so much? The feelings of this person is always trying to devalue me. You start to see, hey, me be me, what's going on? Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And you all that stuff starts to come together. And like I said, I made it very discreet, but there came a point where I just made my own coffee. I literally did. I had this big coffee thing and I would just make enough to get me through the next few hours. Hopefully they would take some and then I'd have to make another pot because I didn't trust them. Because I saw through their mask. So again, not knowing how far the evil literally goes. Thank you for the heart, me, be me. Not knowing how far, the rabbit hole goes or what lengths they're going to go to protect their mask, that puts you in a very dangerous, situation. It puts you in a dangerous position. And that's why I always tell people, just leave. Don't brag about what you're going to do. Don't sit up there and tell them how you're going to get them back. And yes, Wante does go deep. It does. It goes very deep. This is because people, I don't think when people come out of the fog, the fear is so real that, you understand the fear, but here we go doubting our gut. At this point, the logic center of your mind, you're doubting it. You're making excuses for this person. You're saying to yourself, oh, they would never do that. Oh, they would never do this. A narcissist, you don't know to what lengths a narcissist will go to protect their mask. Playing with them is like playing with a hand grenade. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It is. It is because while they're pulling your nerves, plucking your last nerve, as my aunt would say, you're sitting up there, you're getting frustrated, you're getting upset, and then you forget that you pulled the pin out, and you're like, oh man, I done lost the pin. But yeah, I mean, you bring up a very valid point. You have to you have to start taking this seriously. You have to start taking you serious. Hey, Paseka, thank you for joining. Thank you for sticking around. You got to take you seriously. I do not. Thank you for. Hopefully, that's a very nice thing, but I don't know Spanish. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Back in the day when I used to hang out in Alphabet City, back in the 80s, I thought I knew Spanish. I didn't. But it was enough to get me around. But yeah, so, when you look at, because Dr. Armani says, from my notes, Dr. Armani frequently explains that survivors begin emotionally negotiating with unhealthy patterns because the nervous system becomes conditioned to the intermittent reinforcement. Again, when we start to look at what's going on in our lives, we start to see the pattern. We start to see, like I said, once you start to see through the mask, it kind of unfolds like an onion in layers, and I think around like a third way through it, you start to literally see those patterns. You're just sitting down in your bed and you're like, they do something, you're like, oh, well, I guess this is the stage where you pull the rug from up under me. And yeah, I guess we reached that stage. And then you look at your clock and you're like, 1 minute. Okay, now you're going to come back around and act like you care. So we start to see the patterns, but we're still upset. We're still upset because we're still having this deep emotional conversation between the logic center and our brain. and our nervous system. We're having this deep conversation because your nervous system is like, just wait it out. They'll come back around. Trust me, they'll come back around. Your nervous system is a drug addict. Okay, I don't think there's another way I can put it. Your nervous system is acting like they're hooked on something, because they are. They're hooked on the intermittent reinforcement. They're hooked on, reclaiming the stage of them that you saw in the beginning, aka the love bombing, phase one. They're hooked on waiting for them to calm down and come back around. So your nervous system is a junkie in every sense of the word. Okay. And this is part of the reason why you have to stop making excuses for them. Okay. Once you see the patterns, that is like the golden sign that maybe I need to start feeding some of this energy back into myself and making a game plan. And I've got to charge up my phone. Hopefully I don't break anything. But yeah, that's when you have to make a game plan, And I get it, and I try to tell survivors this. You've seen this on these lives. I try to tell survivors this. It's like, keep your damn mouth shut and just plan. Do what you need to do. I've given a number, call 988. They'll help you find resources in your area. If you're a vet, reach out to, veteran centers, let them know what you're going through. In fact, you can use, there's a key punch. I'm not sure if it's 5 or 7, but they'll tell you. Thank you, Wante. Thank you for the fist bump. They will tell you, exactly which button to press if you're a veteran. I don't think it escalates the services, but since it's Memorial Day, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there. But yeah, you can find a way to actually navigate out cleanly and safely. Yeah, it's possible. Oh, thank you, go Popular. I love it. You want to come up here? You send all these nice things. I love it. But yeah, so we've got to look at the fact that when we get to that stage of healing where we're playing conversations, the rumination, how are you playing out those conversations in your head? Are you giving this person more grace than you're giving yourself? Are you looking at this as, for what it really is, or are you trying to sugarcoat it? Do you still have rose-colored glasses on? Do you still think that this person is going to come back to the person that you met in the beginning? These are all important things. Let me put up my Service Plus, because I really, really want you guys to go ahead and not so much to get the services. Just go ahead. I think it has a link for you to email me. I want you guys to actually email me so I can give you this guide. I think this guide is important and it's completely free. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to go through those emails and I'm going to randomly pick a few people to have free access to the Real Talk Inner Circle community. Okay. I think that's going to be gangster. I don't know what's going to be more gangster. Is it going to be the Inner Circle community, or is it going to be Real Talk no other way? In fact, this weekend I can't go out. I have to go ahead and start working on getting the sheet done for Amazon Prime to see, what they need. I'm sure, I'm sure they changed a few things because it's been years since I've been on there as a contributor. But I'm going to see what they need. Make sure that the beast that's now back in my hands is up to the task, and I'm going to start working on that. I'm going to start getting that done. I think it's important that I get that done. So yeah, there's so much. And Carl Jung warned that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. How many of us have done it? How many of us, looked at it like, oh, this is the twin flame thing? The narcissist isn't trying to elevate you and make you stronger. Trust me. Trust me. After a person is going through this 3 times, I cannot say one of them were trying to elevate me or make me a stronger, better person. like they were. That's what twin flames do. You have that intense conflict, but both people are kind of working to elevate the other person, to make the other person see their true inner potential. The narcissist isn't doing that for you. Okay, they're not trying to. So get that out of your mind. If you, some people think that narcissistic abuse, they'll say, "Oh, it's just that whole twin flame thing." It's not. It's not. This is a person that is literally trying to destroy you. Okay, if it's a twin flame, it's the left hemisphere, and the right hemisphere of their brain. Okay, they are literally trying to destroy you. They're literally trying to extinguish your light. Okay, if you're an empath, you will find this out that they will work super hard to chip away at your confidence. Okay, this is the game plan for these demons since name a year. Okay, so with that being said, Carl Jung, I love Carl Jung. But yeah, so until you make the unconscious conscious, so that in a sense, I see that as rewriting your reality. I literally see that stop rewriting our reality. Stop rewriting what we know is happening to us, because it's like when you go to a doctor, you've got to tell a doctor what's wrong with you. You do. You're not just going to sit on the exam table and he sits at his desk and you're just going to stare at each other and he's going to figure it out. No. You're going to have to open up and say, this hurts, that hurts, I got a headache. You got to tell him something to work with. Okay? So what that does for the doctor is it gives them a baseline, something that he can deal with. And since it's coming from you, he's going to assume that it's factual. Okay? Because you paid the copay. So yeah, unless you just want a sick note for work. But yeah, so it's the same thing with dealing with the narcissist. You've got to put a name to your pain. There's no way around it. There's no easy way around it. And you're experiencing the pain, so who better to put a name to the pain than you are? Again, send me an email, get this sheet. It's going to help you work it out. I'm telling you. Send me an email. Just put clarity in the subject. You don't got to put nothing in the body. Just put that there. And I'm getting out was the fear. I think Monte says, I think for me, getting out was the fear of the unknown that kept me stuck too. You know what? I agree. I do agree because many survivors say that. Especially when you've been in a long-term relationship. And then you find out that this person has just been playing in your face. This has all been a game. This has been nothing real, and then you start looking at the time that you stayed in that relationship. And by this stage, you kind of know. You're still just, I'm not going to deal with that right now. But a lot of people, yes, finances, etc., yes. A lot of people stay stuck for all the wrong reasons, and I'm not coming at you and I'm not saying you picked any wrong reason. I'm just saying in general, they stay because of the children. They stay because of finances. They stay because of the business. They stay because of name a thing. And they justify the reason as to why. Hold on one second. And they justify this as to the reason why they must stay, even though it's tearing them apart. See, that's what narcissists do to you. They're playing a mental game with you, and they're watching you slowly fall apart for their glee, for their happiness. And what I tend to tell people is, here is the deal, okay? If you are in pain, if you feel hurt, if you do not feel loved, if you do not feel valued in that relationship, how are you helping by staying? Because every day that you stay, and this is usually the trigger point for many survivors, is they come to realize that if I stay, everything that I'm staying for, I'm slowly destroying. Oh, narcissists will help you destroy a business. Your best bet is to buy them out of their share. Okay? The narcissist, if you're going through a divorce, oh, that's just fun time for them. Get you to waste as much money as humanly possible. Keep it circle jerking for as long as they can. Okay, everything they say. Okay, this the judge will say, "Hey, this is fair. I just need you both sign off on." Narcissist going to be like, "I need some time to think about it." Their whole goal is to destroy you. Let's talk about the kids. You're already in a state of, I can't take this anymore. How are you there for your kids? How are you helping them? How are you helping them become stable, emotionally sentient human beings? If you stay there and they see what's going on, I just saw a video where somebody just said that the narcissist cares so little that this person went on a business trip. They had the new supply in the house with the kids. This is the evil that we're dealing with. No human decency boundaries. No, yes, I'm gonna go try to find the video, Wante, and I'm gonna share it to the group. But yeah, dude went on a business trip. This chick brought a new supply in the house with the kids, and I'm talking about young ones. You know, young enough to not really understand, but not so young that they didn't understand. Because the narcissist has no shame. They feel entitled to do whatever it is that they want to do. You have to remember that. Okay, to give you a case in point, I didn't want to believe it, okay? But all of the things, one of the things that, and the old supply hates me, but anywho, one of the things that I always said was you shouldn't talk about him around his kids. You know, you shouldn't badmouth him in front of his kids. Now, what he chooses to do on his time when he's talking kids is on him, okay? But I made that clear. It's like you shouldn't purposely, turn his kids against him. So here I am. Here I am. I have no clue the amount of dog doo doo that is said, but I don't care. I don't care because I'm saying to myself, well, if they did it to that person, what makes you think that they wouldn't do it to you? Common decency, common boundaries, the narcissist doesn't have. Hey, stories of strangers. I didn't see you. How you doing tonight? Thank you for joining. So yes, disrespectful. You're correct. This is what we're dealing with, but yet and still, in our minds, we're rewriting the factual reality. We're trying to rationalize something that can't be rationalized because I go back to Kevin Hart. I'm not prepared. I wasn't prepared for this. And nobody ever is prepared for the narcissist. And the narcissist takes full advantage of that. I'm sure one of them, or if not all three, are going around there just looking for people to actually, buy into this narrative that I don't know. The best narrative to tell would be like, I don't care. I really don't care. You're not pivotal in my life. You're a demon. I exposed said demon. I don't want demon. I mean, it's simple. It's simple math. And the people that you're probably talking to me about, I don't want to be around them anyway. So it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is my children. So I think that long drawn out story is helping people understand why it's important that you stop rewriting the reality that you're literally experiencing. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The thing that we said to the narcissist when we first met them, remember those days? Do you remember those days? Oh my God, it's fate. I can't believe that. How did I find you? Let me just go down the chain of events that led us to each other. Now you're sitting up there trying to figure out an escape plan. You thought fate brought this person to your life. Now you're trying to figure out how to get the hell away. Yeah, it can make you stronger, but you got to heal. Okay, you got to heal. There's no way. Yeah, you're going to become stronger. You're going to become more resilient. But I guarantee you that many of you feel the same way that I do. Given a choice, could you have given me a different test? Given the choice, could you have given me a different test? And I get it because you actually cared at a certain point. I get it. I understand it. You know, you feel sorry for them. But, and that's cool. That's cool. This shows that you're an empath and that you're a human being. But can I ask you an honest question? When they were devaluing you, did they feel sorry for you? When they were playing in your face, did they feel sorry for you? When they were not being supportive in a loving relationship, did they feel sorry for you? At what point can you go back? This is what I'm saying. You got to stop rewriting this ish. At what point can you go back and say that they actually cared enough to feel sorry for you for what they were doing to you? Was there any remorse? Stories of Strangers says we literally have rewired our brains and nervous systems to detect them, knowing what to detest them, knowing what they really are. Yes, yes. I mean, Dr. Romani talks about this constantly. Radical acceptance. You can't win. You can't win. There are empaths out there that says I'm going to beat them at their own game. Well, here's the deal. If you didn't walk into the relationship as a dark empath, what makes you think that you can beat them at this game that they've been playing for decades? How many people did you go through your life trying to purposely hurt? Now let's look at the stats. How many people have they hurt through their life? You're new to this. So that's why I tell people don't even try to play the game. Don't try to play the game. Exit the game. Throw the board up and walk out. That's why I make these. And guys, send me an email. Studio of Inner Clarity. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I definitely do. You know. Remember, send me an email. I'm going to send you the template for free. Okay, just send me an email. Don't have to put nothing. Just put clarity, and that will trigger me to actually send you the PDF. It's going to help you figure this out. I'm telling you. I was looking at the questions like, yeah, I remember going through that. It's going to help you figure this out, and it's going to help you get a grasp on reality because that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. You need to get a grasp on reality. And this is, again, I have to say this every time. This is not about destroying people's relationships. This is getting people to reclaim their identity. So it's falling on deaf ears if I'm just telling you, hey, listen, it's this is your reality. This is what you emotionally felt. I didn't feel a bit of what you felt. I just know how the cycle presents itself. So personally, no, I don't know what you felt. Only you do. Only you understand what you went through. Only you understand what you tolerated. So who better to make the choice? I'm never going to knock on your door and be like, your mate is a narcissist. You need to go right now. Here's the narcissist eviction papers. And Stories of Strangers says the relationship never existed. It was just a predator hunting its prey. Correct. Correct. Or a virus hunting its next victim. However way you want to look at it. But I tend to like the whole predator and prey thing because that's what literally happened. Again, we find a demon that this is literally how they have spent their life. Thank you so much for life. I appreciate you. This demon has spent their life. Look at the records that they told you about. Every victim story was a confession. Every victim story of their past relationships was a true confession of what they did. That person probably wasn't unstable until they got through doing what they did. And then they come up and you know that's the part that I can't understand. It's like you people get so upset at the new supply and what they're doing with the new supply, and I can't understand it because at what point do you think that they will change? At what point do you think they're giving someone else that you beg for? What you're doing is you're looking at the cycle reset itself. They now have the opportunity to go get that crazy glue, fix their mask, put it on, make sure it's on straight, and drag somebody else through hell. So yeah, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. And here you are worried about it because you're going to do the same thing that the old. If you get caught up in that new supply ish, you're going to do the same thing that the old supply did. Messages out the blue. We need to talk. Da, 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 da. And just like they're doing with the new supply with you, look, see, they're obsessed with me. See, they can't get over me. At what point do you think the cycle changes? You've got a person that's been doing this for decades. What, do you think that it's going to give up? This has literally been working for them on the level that it keeps their shame down. It keeps them hidden from the rest of humanity. It keeps them mentally unstably stable. They're going to love bomb the new one more, but the discard abuse will be worse with them. Yes, because you know what? It's a test run. Every supply becomes nothing more than a lab rat. This is how they perfected their craft through the years. The narcissists might as well walk around in white lab coats because that's all they're doing. They're meeting people. They're deciding, are you going to be intermittent or, oh my God, you're an empath. You're going to keep trying. And then they did, excuse me for a second, I just got to go powder my nose. They go in the bathroom, they open up their book and they say, this didn't work. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. Let me just go talk to them for 5 minutes. You're sitting there talking, you're thinking you're meeting another normal human being. You're having a conversation. You're trying to get to know this person better, not knowing that they're trying to get to know you better. So the plot can actually take hold. So they literally can destroy you. I tell people radical acceptance is so important because, again, it's not so much me telling you, it's you understanding what you've been feeling. I've Honestly, I don't know why while I was in the military, I didn't actually go ahead and get my C school psych because this stuff, I literally consider myself an authority on this stuff. And not taking away from anybody else, but I spent an insane amount of time learning about this, not for the original reason. The original reason, as I shared before, was to see if I could fix the narcissist. Okay? Now it's because I see how dangerous they are. Now, because I see that they truly are demons. And now I understand that empaths are their favorite food group. So, yeah, I talk a lot about this, but it's because I understand it more and more and more and more every day. And it's not like that's all I do. I'm still a creative. I think all empaths have that creative thing inside of them. I'm still creative, but I tend to transfer that energy into creating assets, to creating documents, to creating books, to create video shows. On Amazon Prime, I tend to create stuff that actually helps people understand this dynamic because I don't think enough people in the world truly understand how dangerous this is. It's like when that person was questioning me for their podcast, well, I love what you do, but how does it fit in the business world? Well, if a person, has been devalued in their home to the point that they don't trust themselves, how can they run a Fortune 500 company? How can they run a team? How can they run the people at checkout? You know, and Strawberries and Strings says we were their gourmet meal. Every other supply, even exes, don't amount to us. Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. The cycle goes on. You know, it's like round and round I go. You know, the cycle goes on from they cannot break the cycle. You know, and then I explained once they make that pivotal decision at a young age that people must pay for what they experience, well, then their brain starts transforming. That's part of the reason they have no empathy, because the little part of their brain that controls that is like minuscule. It's like not even there. You know, and I'm talking about they came out the womb with the same tools that everybody else came out with, but that one pivotal decision actually changed their very biology. And it's scary to think of because these are facts. This is not something that I'm making up. And people want to rewrite the reality of their experience with a demon. People want to change the narrative in their mind about their experience with a demon. Why? Especially if you felt it. So no, I get it. Everybody has to go through this. If you got caught up by a narcissist, again, we go back to Kevin Hart. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared for this. So we go back to that. Okay, so I get that part. I'm not trying to tell you that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're weak, you're not intelligent. I'm not trying to tell you any of that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you a heads up. Okay, I'm trying to get, because if you went through the love bombing stage and now you're in the middle of the devaluation stage and you're starting to look back at the love bombing stage because you're sitting up here, you're joining all these lives, you're watching all these people, okay, talk about their experience, and you're saying, damn, that's real familiar. Damn, no, he or she can't be a narcissist. They love me. You know, if you're seeing all this, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you the key out. Because this is what the devaluation stage is, where the illusion tends to hold on to you a little bit harder. You see it, but you don't see it. And when you do see it, you're sitting up there saying, no, they're stressed. No, they would never do that. No, why would they sabotage me on purpose? I'm just trying to tell you, no, don't even go that route. Just, you know, they're going to discard you anyway. It's going to happen. I wish I could come back to people that I do these lives and come back to them in 2-3 years and see where they're at in this relationship. I guess just to prove myself wrong. I would love to, because that would mean to me that I gave up too early. I don't believe that. Because literally, I know for a fact if you're in a narcissistic dynamic, it is going to play out the same way. I don't care what they put in drinking water. I don't care what part of the country you're from. I don't care what part of the globe you live on. It always ends the same. It begins the same and it ends the same. I'm to the point now in my life, if someone just seems a little bit too over eager to get to meet me, that's kind of a red flag. Again, I always go for the five. I always go for the five out the DSM-5. You know, but it kind of makes me pay attention. You know, so yeah, I like I said, was free for literally what, I want to say 4 months. You know, and this person just saddled up to me, was like, and I started seeing things. You know, and like everybody says, once you see narcissism, you can't unsee it. It becomes part of you. And I consider myself healed. You know, so it was just a chain of events where I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I was too quick. 6, 7, 8. No, I can't deal with you. You know, I'm not rude to that person or anything. If I pass them, hi, how you doing? And go about my business. We're not having a long conversation, not stretching it out. Hi suffices. I'm just being a polite human being. You know, exactly. They move so fast that it creeps you out. But that being single and lusting, that's true. as a male, you get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then again, the way that I honestly look at it, if you're straightforward with people and you make it clear, like I'm not looking for something, and if they sign off on that, then hey, listen, we can make something work. But once you're healed, it kind of disgusts you because you literally see these people that are trying to hide their mask as straight demons. And I'm talking about the literal, stuff oozing off of them, the red skin and the horns and the spikes and everything else. You literally see these people as demons. And that's, this is why I work on this stuff all the time. And what I put here, because I'm talking too much, but what I put here was part two, your nervous system may be attached to chaos. Prolonged emotional unpredictability can increase hypervigilance, what I was just talking about, anxiety, and nervous system exhaustion. Many survivors are not addicted to the person, they are attached to the emotional cycle of relief after tension. And I said this when we first started. Your nervous system is a freaking junkie right now. If you are in the beginning of the devaluation stage, you are getting all the signs you need that this person is toxic at the very least, dysfunctional in the middle of the spectrum, or has NPD. You kind of notice, you kind of feel it. But your nervous system is a junkie because your nervous system is waiting for that, that next hug, that next kiss on the head, the next time that your abuser actually makes you feel as if you are seen and important for 5 minutes, which is basically the street level of a junkie. A junkie will go through a ton of hoops just for 5 to 10 minutes of relief. And that's literally what you're doing. I can't put it any other way. Your nervous system is strung out. Your nervous system is strung out on what the narcissist is doing to you. And again, I tell people this constantly. They know exactly what they're doing. Again, this has been a lifelong mission for them. This is what they practice. It went from manipulating and gaslighting the guy at the corner store to manipulating, gaslighting teachers, and getting people to do what they want, which makes them feel superior. So yes, Cindy Lou, what's up? So it makes for a hard way to go. And here's this is part of what's inside of the PDF. Let me put this up once again. Send me an email. I want to hit you guys with this. It's completely free. Just send me an email, put clarity in the subject line. I don't know what you want, and I will send you this PDF, this worksheet to help you understand if not only are you trauma bond, but are you actually rewriting history or rewriting what's actually happening to you. So, signs your nervous system may be stuck in survival mode. Fear when you're trying to set a boundary. Okay. Anxiety during silence. They make you feel, they're giving you the silent treatment. You feel off kilter. You feel like, what's going on now? What's happening now? Guilt for choosing yourself. The narcissist is very good at this, making you feel guilty. Even sometimes they'll give you that dry guilt. You're choosing yourself. Now all of a sudden you're selfish. You're sitting in front of the most selfish, self-serving person ever on this planet that you've run into. But yet and still, every time you choose yourself, and it could be for any reason, you're selfish. And they make you feel guilty because you're rewriting history. You're not taking into the fact that this person has shown you throughout this situationship that they only care about themselves. They don't care about anybody else in that household but themselves. They don't want to see anybody get ahead. They don't want to see anybody get a leg up. They don't want to see anybody become the best version of themselves, because all that's going to do is make them see just how useless, worthless, and demonic that they are. So they never want to see that. They'll play the role like they're happy for you, but they're not. You can feel it in the air. A compliment is basically a dart in the house with a narcissist. Oh wow, look, you did that. Okay. I'm proud of you. I got stuff I got to do. You know, these are the feelings that you're going to get with these encounters with a narcissist, and difficulty trusting calm people. That's a big one. Because once you get caught in the dynamic, part of what they do is they do try to isolate you because they can't take the chance that somebody else that they haven't manipulated is going to be able to see through their mask. So they have to isolate you. Um, they do the silence treatment thing a lot because psychologically you're in a relationship with this person. Why is this person ignoring me? Why is this person making me feel this way? Um, so when you're around other people and they seem calm, that's almost like, I'm not used to this. Oh, what you got up your sleeve? It's usually we become fearful due to the intimate reinforcement and the psychological programming. We become distrustful of calm in any form because our nervous system has been rewired for the opposite. Our nervous system has been rewired for chaos. Our nervous system has been rewired for stress, followed by relief. Um, and emotional attachment to potential instead of patterns. This is the big thing. This is the big thing that speaks to the part that you are rewriting history, hope and potential. And I've been there. I'm not trying to judge nobody. I thought at least two of them. One of them I knew didn't have any potential. I knew that kind of off the bat. But that was like they didn't have decades of practice. But yeah, we look at the potential that the narcissist presents to us, especially in the love bombing stage. Again, creating a mask of entitlement, creating a mask of arrogance, creating a mask of feeling as if they are better than everybody else. And that mask was actually based off of you. See, you're an empath, so yeah, when you look at it, you don't just have potential, you get the damn thing done. You get the damn thing done as an empath. It might take you longer than what you expected, but you get it done. You hold the path. The narcissist doesn't have that in them. And they kind of hate you for that. They don't. There is no way that you can tell me in your relationship that they lived up to the potential that you painted them in your mind with. There is no way. Near the end, you had to realize that everything, everything down to what they said that they could do or what they wanted to do or their dreams or goals was fake. It was all orchestrated to keep you hooked in. It was all orchestrated to those times when you was like, I'm really sick of this. And you're ready to walk out where you're saying to yourself, well, maybe they do have potential. Maybe they do have potential. No, they don't. They after the love bombing stage, they proved to you how much potential they had. In fact, I'm going to guarantee that they rolled off of your coattails. They latched on and went along for the ride, and you're going extra hard because you know that they're hanging on. And you want to show them that you care. So you're going to use everything inside of you to help them. And that's by design. Raise your hand if you know a narcissist that was literally worth the air that they breathed. Oh, they would tell you that you're not worth anything, that you can't do anything, that there's a gazillion people that do things better than you. They'll tell you that all day long. But ask yourself one question. What do you bring to the table? Not even to the relationship table. What do they bring to the table for themselves? That's when you start asking questions like that, that's when you start rewriting reality. That's when I hate these puzzles. Why does it? Americans bought the company. You don't think they would took the puzzle out? Well, what's the sense of it? Because they say you got to be on camera for a certain amount of time, or they're going to stop the live. So, what's the sense of putting the puzzle up there? I'm here. Come on. I don't know. So, and I'm going to tell you, this is why This is why for the last couple of days, I created the Real Talk Inner Circle community on school. This is the reason why. Because these discussions need to be had. And they need to be had in an environment. Oh, they need to be had in an environment where it feels safe. Because I've done lives where narcissists will get on and try to. There's probably a ton of narcissists on the other side of this live, refusing to hit the join live. They're just sitting down there getting as much information as possible. Like I said, I'm not a dark empath, but I'm going to dismantle your mask. I am, and this is not about revenge. This is not about payback. This is about saving other empaths, keeping other empaths for having to go through this, for having to deal with an empty vessel, to have to deal with a demon. That's why I do this. So, I like to think of myself as a narc slayer, but that's just giving them too much of me. That's making, he wants to be a narc slayer now. He still has me on his mind. No, I don't. No, I don't. This is a collective thing. This is empaths coming together to ensure their safety. This is empaths creating a community of like-minded individuals. This right here, okay, is about empaths helping others out of hell. That's what this is. So if you are on the other side, looking, trying to figure this out, there's nothing to figure out. This is about allowing empaths to reclaim their life. Our eyes are open now. It's too late. We cannot be defeated. You are correct. Thank you so much for reminding me of that, Wante. We can't be. We can't be defeated because we know. It's like we got your playbook. It's like we ran into the Masonic Temple, took the book, and ran out. You know what I'm saying? We've got your playbook. We understand it. We're going to tell so many empaths exactly what you're doing. It's going to be like a sci-fi movie. You're going to have a narcissist in your face, and an empath is going to walk past you and be like, yo, leave that alone. I'm telling you, that's a demon. That's a demon. We're literally, empaths are going to be like those creatures from Invasion of the Body Snatchers, just standing in the street, pointing and screaming that shrill scream, because once you heal, this is how you make narcissists, not just your narcissist, but other narcissists stand up and pay attention. Because now we are prepared. Now we understand. Now we know who we are. See, that's the part that so many people miss. This is not there are 10,999 lives going on right now where people are just talking about what the narcissist did to me. No. We go above that. When we're here, we go above that. When we're in the school Real Talk Inner Circle community, we go above that. Hey, TikTok Don't Stop, how you doing? And Dolores, how you doing? Thank you for joining. We have to go above that. Because telling a story it gives us a little bit of relief, but it doesn't solve the problem. These demons are still walking out there. There's a demon right now in somebody's face that is probably going to give them about 2 weeks. They're going to drag them through hell. The plot is afoot. It's Friday, it's a holiday weekend. There's someone being love bombed this very second. We've got to stop it. And only those of us, we do resolutions and heal here. That's right. Hey, Dolores. Yes, that's right. We heal here. This is what everything I do is. As you know, I'm not like one of those creators that's like just sitting up there saying, okay, we got 10,000 in this live, and no, it's not. I have actually accepted the fact that if I can reach one empath that is going through this and help them understand it, then hey, I won. I've won. I spent so much time when I first started understanding all of this. My thing was I thought it was enough. Just dismantle the mask. Put everything out there so people understand what it is that they're dealing with. So people can get that heads up and say, you know what? You know what, Mister, you know what? I'm really, I don't have time for this. I really don't need a relationship right now. You know, instead of 2 weeks later giving them the keys to your house. That's what we're trying to stop. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. But we can't keep on going over what they did to us. They did the same thing to all of us. If we consider ourselves survivors and we have healed, we went through the gauntlet. And it was literally like a gauntlet. Who remembers that show that came out of Japan where people would have like all these stunts and, you know, water tricks and walk on bridges and fight on stuff and everything? That's what we did. That's literally what we did. I forget the name of the show. Dolores Green says, right, yes. So we've got to, at the end of the day, the reclamation part is what's important, because once you reclaim your identity, and that's not going to happen until you get them out of your head. And I know, I get it. They're like freaking weeds. They sit in your head. Okay. Like I said, I got kids, so I'm put to I think God just puts me to test for the hell of it. He's like, you sure you heal, son? No, all right. I'm gonna put you in this position, and we're gonna see what you do. You know, it's like it's so many different things, and that's why I come up with. It seems like I do too much, but to me, I don't think I'm doing enough. I want to be there for everybody. I do. I do. That's why I said, and guys, please, I want to give you guys this worksheet that's going to help you figure out, they call it a template, but I want to give you this template to help you figure out. It's free, it's completely free. Just send me an email. That's why I'm posting this up there now. My services, because it'll show you a link to my email. Send me an email. Just put clarity in the subject line. You don't have to write anything else. I really don't. I will send it to you. And out of those emails, when I get off, I'm going to pick 2 random people to give them free access to the Real Talk Inner Circle. Yes, Dolores, you are so right. You are so right. You do get tested. You do get tested. And part of it is the narcissist still trying to see if they have control over you. That's a huge part of it, because again, I go back to you basically being a goldfish in their mind. They want to make sure that they still have control over you. But I think our higher power, I think when we get to the level of healing where we're helping others get through the issue, when we're helping others get through it, I think, you know, God, higher power, whatever you believe in, will actually test you to see if you're worthy. This is purpose. This is purpose, to literally battle demons. And that's what we're doing here. You know, and I'm not trying to get all spiritual and stuff like this, but if you can tell me that there's a person on this planet without a disorder that could weaponize the fact that someone loved them, literally weaponize that for no other reason but that person loved them and kept on trying to love them even harder and want to destroy them, that's a whole new different level of evil. At least in my mind. I can't speak for anybody else, but in my mind, that is a whole nother level of evil. You know, I mean, I wish I could say that it's not evil. I really wish, you know, that I could say it's just a dysfunction. They can be healed. They can go to therapy. They can do this. They can do that. There's something sitting in Walgreens that I can buy for them. Hey, Chef LeBron, what's going on? You know, I wish there was something in Walgreens that I could buy for them to get them out of this stage, but radical acceptance, it's not. That's, yes, they different. That's one way of saying it, Dolores. Yes, they are different. Yes, they are. They're a new kind of special, but you have to. This is why radical acceptance is so important. This is why I harp on this so much. Because if you don't accept radical acceptance, let me give you an outline of what your life is going to look at. You're not going to heal. This person, if they admit they're narcissists, the best they can do is become self-aware. Me be me, you're correct. That is it. Self-aware. I know why I'm doing it, but that ain't gonna stop me. This is what I've been doing to survive my whole life. Why should I stop now? I mean, literally, that is the mindset. So when you look at radical acceptance, and you put it in the frame of, okay, I've lost myself. As we heal, we all go through that stage. I've lost myself. I don't recognize the person that I am. I'm no longer sure of myself. Um, and we have to look at the common denominator. Whenever as we go, let's look through the common denominator through the whole relationship. Okay, after the love bomb. Okay, and okay, well that's good. Congratulations, Chef Ron says I actually healed myself from a narcissist. Well, the hope is that we all heal ourselves. That is the hope, is that we all heal ourselves. But I'm glad that you consider yourself to be healed. That's a very important thing. Hopefully, now that you've healed, I hope that you're helping other people get out of hell. Because if you heal, we can smell a narcissist a mile away. You know. But back to mapping out other people's relationships. So after the love bombing stage, because that was phase one, that was the initial hook. Um, After that, we come into the devaluation stage. It starts off with little darts, and you feel them. You definitely feel them. You feel the little darts that they're throwing. The little under the breath comments, the little showing you that they're not going to support you, showing you that whatever you did wasn't such a big thing. Anybody could do it. You're going to start feeling that, and that's going to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But at the same time, they're doing intermittent reinforcement. And you'll soon find that the pattern is that the pulling the rug from up under you actually, okay, that time period becomes longer. Because you, remember, nervous system is a junkie right now. You're waiting for the next dopamine hit, the next time that you feel seen. Okay. So while you're going through that, you're noticing the pattern and you know it's wrong. Just like the junkie knows what they're doing is wrong. But they rationalize it. They rationalize it. In your mind, that's what you're doing. You're rationalizing this behavior that you know is hurting you. Now, a little bit longer down the evaluation stage, you're going to know that it is going to be outright disrespectful. They're going to be outright dismissive. They're going to be outright devalue you. Okay? Now you know something is wrong, but you're sitting in the corner like this. If I just hold out a little bit longer, they're going to come back around. So what's happening is you know what you're experiencing. You know that because you're telling yourself. You're telling yourself. You're like the guy that always has something to sell now. You're that guy or gal. You are. You're telling yourself that, well, it's just stress it. They'll be back soon. And then you're ruminating, even in the relationship, you're ruminating about the love bombing stage. You're thinking about the beginning. That's why phase one has to work, because they always need you. If all else fails, they need you to believe in the potential of what they showed you in the beginning. So now you're sitting up there, you're like, damn, it's taking a long time for them to get taking them a long time. Why didn't they give me a hug yet? What's going on? I don't know. The plug is right next to you. That is your plug. And you're waiting. And you know why you're waiting. Deep down inside, you know. But just like Leroy or Letitia down the block, you're sitting up there saying to yourself, I just need one more hit and I'll be fine. This is what we do. We ignore what we're living through. We don't really get hip to what's going on until we're close to the discard stage. That's because the narcissist starts feeling themselves. Okay, now the disrespect, evaluation, playing in your face goes to a whole nother level. A level that you didn't think existed on this planet. Okay, it goes to a whole nother level because they're feeling themselves right now. Oh, I got the new supply lined up. I really don't need you anymore. And that's when most people realize what the hell they've been dealing with. But then, how's that helping you now? Because most of us do the same thing. Our stomach hurts. We can't think straight. We're anxious. We're kind of jumpy. We hate for it to be silent. We're doing stuff just to not remember. The trauma bond, created just for you. It was created just for you. The narcissist knows you feel this way. This is why you never get closure from a narcissist. Why? Why would they give you closure? And Wante says that's right. And they're sitting watching your reaction to everything they do. Yeah. Like I said, it's a whole new different brand of evil. It's kind of evil. I don't even think they talk. Well, they do talk about it in church, but nobody warns you. No, nobody comes to school and says, it's empath day. I'm going to bring all the empaths in and I'm going to put these pictures on the board and they're going to be a little bit shocking. You might not understand them at first, but you're going to need this information as you go forward into life. This picture one is the narcissist. Notice that this picture looks different for every one of you here because the narcissist is going to present themselves as the thing that you've been waiting your whole life for. So the picture is going to be slightly different for everybody else. Notice this picture. This is the beginning of the love bombing. See the two people on the pillow sharing secrets? That's why I have the little bubble up there. There's no course for this. Nobody is going to stop into any junior high school, or university and say, I'm going to teach you guys how to avoid dealing with a narcissist. Doesn't happen, does it? Does it? So we know a couple of things. I'm going to start with the closure thing. Screw the closure. You don't need it. Give yourself closure that you escaped a freaking demon. That's your closure. Because, as I said earlier, the narcissist is just regurgitating a script. Before you, same script. Before you, same. Before that person, same script. Before that person, same script. After you, same script. Stop thinking that somebody else is getting something that you missed out on. At the end of the day, this person was a demon. Good riddance. Bye. Go. And you know what? You don't need to go out there and save the new supply. You don't. Because if the new supply knows you, they think they won. Let them win. Let them enjoy themselves. Because, see, you know something that they don't know. It's going to end the same exact way. There's no escaping that. I bring the pillow closer when I think about that. I do. I'm like, oh, the pillow's nice and cool. Oh, God, this feels good. I do. What are you going to want a new supply about? Let's use some common sense here. What did they tell you about their old supply when they met you? You wasn't triangulated? You didn't feel like you needed to save your narcissist? You didn't? Me says, I told him until next, I'll pray for her. Yep, there you go. That's all you can do is pray for them. They think they winning, let them win. That's all. Who cares? You're free. At the end of the day, you're free. You're a little bit happier. You might still be going through the trauma, but you are a little bit happier though. You don't have to deal with this person. I get it. You miss them and you're longing them, and if you kept the house and the bed, you don't want to sleep on the bed. I get all of that. I do. I do understand it. But that too shall pass. That too shall pass. You will get over it. Just like you've gotten over everything else in your life. You will get over it. You will get over them. See, that's what the narcissist want. The narcissist wants to rent space in your head and never pay you. Because I'm going to tell you, the radical acceptance will actually make you understand that there was nothing there. The same way you're sitting down writing out these long excuses for this person. Think about it. You're writing out these long excuses. You're giving them all these free passes. You're giving them chance after chance after chance. Why are you doing that? Can someone tell me what they did for you? I mean, if someone can help me out here, that would be awesome. Because I know for my three experiences, they did jack for me. In fact, I think after a relationship, I was in such worse shape on all levels. This is what you're looking at is proof that you can heal, proof that you can rebuild yourself, proof that you can reclaim your identity. All the shit that they said walking out the door, oh, you ain't my man. My man lives over here. I'm like, yeah, whatever. By this time, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Go enjoy yourself. Because I started to radically accept this person never cared. See, once you start to accept the reality, what you soon find out is no matter what they do, they're still literally, my favorite word for the last one, they're still literally going to be a piece of shit. They are. That's never going to change. So yeah, this is why I do stuff like the courses. This is why I do stuff like the Real Talk Inner Circle. This is why I do stuff like Real Talk No Other Way. Oh, I guess I should call that Real Talk 4.0. Is it 4.0? Yeah, Real Talk 4.0. It's grown. IP I've been carrying around since 2012. Jumping in and jumping out, but now it's going to serve an even greater purpose. It's going to bring this community together. It's going to help others that may still be in the fog, but the light's starting to shine through, help them see clearly. See, that's why I say now, no other way but forward. This is truly a movement. This is literally a movement. This is something tangible. This is something real. Getting people to understand what they went through. That's it. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to glorify it anymore, because every time you glorify it, what happens? You feel worse. If you look at my courses, and I'm going to put up my service thing. If you look at my courses, you will see that they are all based on real life experiences. You got to live through this shit to understand it, to even attempt to help somebody else heal. You have to live through this. You can't just go into the library and just take out a bunch of books. Well, I got a digital library, or watch a bunch of videos on YouTube and understand this. It doesn't work that way. You got to live through this, which is why I'm so mad they don't have that, empath day where they come in and they teach empaths how to get through life. I don't know why they don't do that. But anywho, this is what this community is about. And I've got certain people that I've met on FB. I've got certain people that I've met right here on TikTok. I've got certain people that I stay in communication with on YT. And the movement is slowly growing. People that actually want to do something. People that don't just want to sit back and do one or two things. it's hopeless, I'm never going to heal, or two, I've healed, I really don't care about what anybody else does. I need those real empaths. Empaths that believes that there is truly a purpose behind the set, believes that you can call it spiritual warfare. You can, because it is. And it doesn't matter what faith you adhere to. Evil is evil. And there has to be some out there that wants to vanquish this evil. I know I do. I know every morning I get up, I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do it. Then I'm like, oh, let me try to do this, or let me build this web page, or let me build this asset. Let me at least start getting this asset done. What am I going to do for my next course? I'm not getting rich off of this. I'm literally trying to live in my purpose. I'm literally trying to do what I think I was placed here to do. And I think I'm doing a pretty damn good job. But I think with more of you, that strength, that unbreakable freaking strength, I think with more of you, shit, we'll have the narcissist running to a cruise ship. We'll go into a deserted island. There's strength in knowledge and there's strength in understanding. Okay? And I say this often, but I think at our very core nature, all empaths want to help others, because that's just what we've been doing our whole life. We want to be there for others. We want to see people rise. I've been saying this for years. Until now, and I think I told this to my last narcissist, for some strange reason, this is when I was younger as well. For some strange reason, I can always help people get to where they want to go. Somebody has a goal, a plan, or something like that, and for some strange reason, we get put in like the same area or something, and I'm air hustling, or they say something directly to me. I help them, they succeed. They get where they need to go. And I'm sure many of you have done that. Many of you have done that. So I think that by me doing this thing that I do is giving other empaths the capability to say, you know what, I can help too. I can add on to this. I know what it felt like. Why not? Why not? And that's all I'm looking for. Again, if you guys want the, I guess we can call it cheat sheet, the radical acceptance, rewriting reality worksheets, go ahead and send me an email. It should have my little link up there for you, like the little email thing, and send me an email, and I will definitely get that out to you. I'm going to look at all the emails, and I will be sending out free access, lifetime access to the School Real Talk Inner Circle as it grows. It was just launched today. I want to say I put about 40 hours worth of work into it, but I felt it to be important work. I felt it to be something that is needed. I don't try to build stuff that's not needed. I mean, if you look at my courses, no contact versus controlled access, how to break the trauma bond in 7 steps. What else do I got? Detaching without guilt. And now the decoder system, the narcissistic relationship decoder. These are all things that, like I said, I wish that I had. It would have made the journey a lot easier, because I will sit down and study something, especially if it's got me confused. So yeah, that's why I do the things that I do, again, between the courses and this new, this school thing I'm excited about. I'm excited about to have a community of real empaths that are sitting up there helping other empaths. That's important to me, you know. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's time to it's time to thank you so much. I appreciate you. I do. It's time to speak up. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the gifts. But yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm literally, I think since I started Church of Real Talk, I've always had a sense that a community needed to be built. You know, I just didn't know how to go about it correctly. Here we are again. Again, everything happens for a reason. You know, I had to go through a complete ish show with a demon to understand that it's really not that hard. You just have to, you know, be there for people so people can be there for you. You know, and you've got to see people. That's important. Is people need to know that they are seen. I mean, as empaths, we kind of spend our whole lives trying to be seen. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it's just that, just being your authentic self. I think that's where it begins. You know, the thing that the narcissists hated, you're authentic. They can't deny that, Ish. You are authentic. You're everything that they ever hoped that they could be. And then they stopped hoping. Pushing down the shame became more important. You are everything. Everything that they could. That's why they had to dim that light. You know, and as an empath, I know you've been going through this your whole life. People just out the blue go, damn, I didn't do nothing to him or her. Why do they act that way towards me? Why do they hate me? You know, I don't even speak to them. I don't even know their name. Why they rolling their eyes at me when I walk past? Because people see your light. They know that you're going to do great things. They know, and sometimes those people being demons, they need to ensure that that doesn't happen. So yeah, like I said, go ahead, send me an email, word clarity, or you can just send me a direct message. I don't think you can do that on YT, but you can do it on FB and TikTok. Send me a direct message with your email, and I will send you the freaking guide. I think you're gonna like that. It's time to speak up. We spoke on narcissists the other day. Oh, Narcissist Friday. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, hello.
Hey, what's up, bro? I don't know how that happened.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing. Oh, there's a match invite. You know what? I want to thank you for inviting me, but I really don't do matches, bro. I'm sorry. There's like serious subject here, man. But I appreciate you. Good luck, bro. Okay. And it won't let you go. Hold on. I got you. I'm gonna follow you anyway, because I believe real people should do real things. Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. Okay. So yeah, we talk about narcissism, and it will not let me go, bro. I don't know what is going on. Oh, there you go.
Let's go games.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit decline, and it's
match. Let's go.
No, because bro, hold on one second. I got you. Hold on. I got you, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You can't, bro.
I can't get rid of you, bro. That sucks.
You're crazy.
I know. I've always been called crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, since I can't get rid of Raquel, it sucks balls, but it is what it is. Yeah, I have no clue. Okay. Well, guys, I guess there it goes. It just keeps on doing the same thing. All right, guys. I know it's all good. It's all good. All right, guys. I'm gonna end this live. Okay, and we'll be on Monday at 8 p.m. Okay. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay. Bye bye. Now it won't let me get off. TikTok hates me, and I don't know why. Bye bye.
Bye, man.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And TikTok won't let me get off. TikTok sucks.